There were worse places in the galaxy than the luxuriant pleasure ring. Probably. None came to mind. Valari didn't remember the last time she'd felt anything that wasn't projected onto her: lust, humiliation, pride, grief so vivid it tasted like burnt metal. Her body was shackled with iridescent cuffs meant more for decoration than restraint. Her mind, however, was gagged, bound, and spread open like a neural buffet. That's what the clients paid for. She'd been a telepathic warrior once. Now she was a psychic fleshlight with an empathy upgrade. "Begin stimulation sequence," chirped a voice. The client, some slug-shaped diplomat whose name translated loosely to "he who moistens," shuddered in delight. His pleasure response was, "Wet." Unfortunately, Valari had to experience that joy with him. Shared arousal, forced by contract and amplifier. "Touch her again, and you die." The phrase hadn't happened yet. But it waited. It was coming. Meanwhile, she endured. Another visitor arrived. Not a client. His boots were mismatched, his breath smelled of fermented something, and he looked at her like someone unsure whether he was in a strip club or a therapist's office. "Damn. Realistic graphics," he muttered. "Do I poke you for menu options or?" Valari blinked once. Her one act of rebellion. Jack Reeves squinted. "Huh. Reactive. Cool. Do you, do the whole experience or just dirty talk?" "Actually, wait, don't answer. I'm terrible with safe words. Last girl I dated told me no and I just assumed she meant emotionally. She didn't speak. She wasn't allowed." He stepped closer. His mind brushed hers, rough, blunt, and full of beer-soaked sarcasm. But human. Real. Alive. And unlike the others, it didn't hurt. "I'm Jack. Don't worry, not here for anything sticky. Just got sent to pick up a crate of space Viagra. Took a wrong turn, landed in, whatever this is. Psychic porn hub?" She sent a pulse, not quite a message, more like a scream and a whisper. A mental flinch. He felt it. He stepped back like he'd touched a hot stove. Whoa. He looked around. Then at her. "Wait. You're real?" Her eyes said what her voice couldn't. His face shifted, humor pulled back, revealing something sharp beneath. "The hell is this place?" A nearby alien snorted. "Human. She's property. A mood-enhancing interface. Go suck your morality somewhere else." Valari's handler, a spider-limbed overseer with a voice like static, clicked his mandibles. "Back away, ape. Your brain's too primitive to interface." Jack didn't move. "So she just takes it, huh? Feels what you feel? All day? That's the gig?" "Yes," the handler hissed. He cracked his knuckles. "That's not a gig. That's torture with mood lighting." "Do you object to the lighting?" the alien asked, genuinely confused. Valari would have laughed if she'd remembered how. Jack leaned forward, voice calm but laced with the kind of threat that made certain aliens nervous. "Let me make something clear. Touch her again, and you die." The room paused. Then a laugh broke out, wet, slobbering, echoing from the slug diplomat. "You'll kill a diplomat over a rental unit? Please. What are you going to do, human? Throw sarcasm at us?" Jack didn't answer. He took a sip from the flask on his belt. Then he spat it into his lighter's flame. A gout of fire arced across the room, catching a velvet curtain and the pheromone incense hanging nearby. The room went up like a virgin at a frat party. Screams. Panic. Tentacles flailing. Jack used the chaos to punch the handler square between his mandibles. "Your safe word is oops." He ripped the amplifier helm off Valari's head. Sparks flew. She gasped, air, not thought. First time in months. The slug tried to slither toward her. Jack pulled his sidearm. It hummed ominously. "Touch her again." The slug froze. I know, Jack said. I already said it. Just felt good to repeat. Valari's mind was free now, but tangled. Her thoughts were echoes of other people's fantasies. One involved jelly wrestling. Another involved mild taxes and loving communication. She shivered harder at the second. You all right? He asked. She tried to speak. Nothing came out. He offered his flask. Don't worry, it's not flammable anymore. She took a sip. It was disgusting. But hers. You gonna kill them all? She rasped. He shrugged. Thinking about it. Why? Jack looked at her. Not with pity. Just a shrugging kind of decency, the rare human trait that scared galaxies more than war. You don't shackle someone like that and call it entertainment, he said. She tilted her head. What do you call it then? He grinned. Porn, obviously. But the kind where everyone signs a release form first. She blinked. Laughed. It hurt. Can you walk? He asked. Do I have a choice? He offered his hand. Lady, I just firebombed a brothel for you. Don't flatter yourself, it's not love. I just hate bullies. She took it. Not because she trusted him, but because for the first time, someone had touched her without taking something. Behind them, alarms wailed. Above them, alien comms crackled. And somewhere, in some bureaucratic office, a file was being updated. Subject, human, unpredictable/dangerous/bad for business. Okay, follow-up question, Jack said, glancing behind them as another alarm screamed through the hallway. What happens if I shoot someone important around here? Valari walked beside him, barefoot, slightly hunched, one eye twitching as her psychic field fluctuated wildly. Then you make yourself important by default. That's how the pleasure ring hierarchy works. Right. Promotion by murder. Efficient. They reached the sliding door, which refused to open. Override, Jack muttered, blasting it open with his pistol. The blast also knocked out a potted plant, which promptly screamed and curled into itself. That was a sentient fern, Valari noted. Then it should have paid rent and moved out of the damn way. Jack had been in messes before. Bar fights on Ganymede. A live sex show turned hostage situation on Phobos. But nothing quite like breaking a mind-chained psychic escort out of a telepathic brothel run by creatures that smelled like melted rubber and fetish guilt. I still can't believe you set the mood room on fire, Valari muttered. Wasn't the first time. Long story. Involves a goat-shaped ambassador, tequila, and the phrase provoke me harder. Her lips twitched. That almost resembled a smile. They turned a corner, and 3 guards waited for them. Hulking brutes with electric batons and zero imagination in their uniforms. The biggest one stepped forward, his 4 eyes narrowing. Return the empath or suffer neural liquefaction. Jack didn't hesitate. I already suffer from chronic disappointment. Try me. The guard raised his baton. Valari winced, feeling it before it happened. But Jack ducked under the first swing, stepped in, and slammed the butt of his gun into the alien's crotch. A very loud sound followed, somewhere between a yelp and a glorp. The other 2 guards hesitated. Jack pointed at them. Now, I can do this the easy way, or the way that involves the phrase rectal implosion being logged in your medical files. They ran. Humans are insane, Valari muttered. Debatable. But entertaining. Also? Very allergic to slavery. They entered what looked like a lounge but smelled like regret and stale pheromones. Jack immediately stepped in a puddle of something sentient. Yup. That's going in the boots forever. Valari stumbled. He caught her, then pretended he hadn't. Don't get used to that, he said. You're not my type anyway. Good. I cry after sex. She laughed. It startled them both. Her mind brushed his again. He wasn't shielding at all. She saw too much, memories of war, debt, his one regret involving a misfired prank with a superglue dispenser and a superior officer's tentacles. And under it all, shame. Deep and human and stubborn. "You're not what I expected," she said. "Everyone expects Earth to send heroes. We send messes. But sometimes the messes shoot first." They entered a control center. Jack grabbed a datapad and started jabbing buttons. "What are you doing?" she asked. "Causing confusion. Best cover in the universe." The overhead screen flickered. Every brothel room suddenly flooded with human adult content. 20th century Earth pornography in low resolution. Valari's eyes widened. "What in the, are those mating rituals?" "Close. This one's called Bad Plumber, Big Pipe Fix." Classic Earth narrative structure. Aliens across the station began shrieking. One licked the screen, confused and aroused. "This is a war crime," Valari whispered. "This is art." The AI voice overhead panicked. "Content breach. Inappropriate human filth detected. Please insert moral stabilizer." Jack leaned over. "Insert this," he muttered, flipping off the nearest camera. The guards returned with reinforcements. Jack locked the doors behind them. "We've got 5 minutes, tops." Valari blinked. "To do what?" He held up a neural disruptor. "To blow the brain scanner uplink that keeps them tracking you like a horny GPS signal." "I didn't think you'd planned this far." "I didn't." He aimed. Fired. The main server blew apart in a blaze of sparks and screaming digital pain. Valari collapsed, her psychic shackles finally gone. No more forced links. No more voices. Just her. She took a breath. "It's quiet." "Yeah," Jack said. "You're free." She looked at him. "No fine print?" "Just one rule, don't mind meld me during bathroom breaks." She snorted. They climbed into a maintenance shaft. Jack grunted as he hoisted himself up. "Remind me to sue whoever designed this ductwork." Valari, behind him, said, "Your species is not built for stealth." Says the glowing empath wearing nothing but resentment and a chain skirt. "That's my culture." "Fair enough." She followed. "Why did you help me, Jack?" "I told you. I hate bullies." "No, I mean why really?" He didn't look back. "Because I know what it's like to be trapped in your own head." Her voice softened. "And the touch her again and you die thing? That was mostly for dramatic effect. Also, kind of true." They reached the upper corridor. A siren blared. "New bounty posted," Valari read aloud. "Human male. 800,000 credits. Armed, irrational, possibly sexually frustrated." Jack grinned. "That's the most accurate resume I've ever had. Congratulations. You're infamous." "I am low and still somehow fall short." She grabbed his arm. "You know they won't stop chasing us." He nodded. "Let him try." She raised an eyebrow. "You're not scared?" "Lady, I've been dumped by a Martian psychologist, sued by a Venusian foot model, and banned from 3 moons for public sarcasm. I've got nothing left to lose." A thud sounded nearby. Jack aimed his pistol. "They're coming." Valari's eyes burned with new strength. "Let them." And for the first time in a long time, her mind felt like hers again, and it was sharp, dirty, and ready to cause problems. "I need pants," Valari muttered, ducking behind a pillar as laser fire scorched the air above her. "Preferably not see-through, battle-tested, or laced with pheromone triggers." "You're picky for someone who was wearing a brain leash 10 minutes ago," Jack said, returning fire with a snort. "Take it up with Space Amazon once we're off this rock." Valari rolled her eyes, then mind-blasted a mercenary trying to flank them. The alien collapsed mid-sprint, twitching and muttering something about intimacy issues. "That one just relived my worst date," she said. "Poor bastard." They sprinted through a corridor labeled Employee Wellness Bay that, judging by the walls coated in lubricant and despair, had never once improved anyone's wellness. Jack kicked open a locker. Out fell a pile of weapons, restraints, and something that buzzed ominously. "This yours?" he asked, holding it up. She gave it a once-over. "No. Too small." He dropped it immediately. "Not even gonna ask." A monitor blinked to life. A bloated administrator alien with 6 eyes and a comb-over glared at them through static. "You are trespassing. You have violated sacred pleasure accords. We will reclaim the asset and recycle your remains." "Reclaim this," Jack said, shooting the monitor. Valari sighed. "Do you do anything subtly?" "Yeah. I cry in the shower." As they moved deeper into the complex, the layout shifted from indulgent to industrial. Less velvet, more wires. Jack scanned a door labeled Pleasure Index Control Core. "Jackpot," he said. "This is where they rate you." "They rate me?" "Yeah. It's like Yelp, but for trauma victims." She stared. "And what did I score?" Jack flipped through the files. 9.7, Exceptional Psychic Elasticity. Preferred for prolonged guilt play and emotional degradation scenarios. She deadpanned. "I was someone's top pick for simulated emotional neglect?" "Congratulations. You're basically the Oscar bait of mind sex." She raised a hand and blew the terminal to pieces with a psychic overload. "Felt good," she said. "Felt erotic," Jack muttered. She didn't disagree. They ran into another squad of guards. These ones wore reflective armor and projected consent field dampeners. Jack squinted. "Let me guess, anti-no means yes tech." Valari snarled. "I hate these." "I know. Let's ruin their week." Jack charged while firing. Valari dropped behind and flooded their minds with intrusive thoughts, mostly clips from bad sitcoms, Jack's hangovers, and the sensation of being rejected for a hug. The guards crumpled under the weight of human-style awkwardness. "Never underestimate our power to ruin a mood," Jack said, stepping over the last one. Valari looked smug. "You're a walking anti-aphrodisiac." "Thank you." They passed a door labeled Client Fantasy Vault and paused. "Don't," Valari warned. "Curious," Jack said, opening it. Inside were thousands of holodisks, each labeled with a different customer's psychic scenario. Jack picked one at random. "Ugh. Stepbrother stuck in airlock? Really? Don't. That one gave me a rash." He tossed it and kept walking. They reached a dead end, a vault door sealed by a biometric lock. Jack eyed the keypad. "You're a telepath. Can you mind poke it open?" "I'm not an ATM whisperer." Jack pulled a small buzzing wand from his belt. "Guess we use this." "Is that a weapon?" "It's technically a massage tool. But with enough overcharge." He cranked it to max. It exploded in sparks and took the lock with it. Valari blinked. "I'm scared of how many things in your life double as explosives. I grew up in a trailer on Luna. Everything's multipurpose." The vault opened. Inside, rows of data cores. The brains of enslaved empaths stored 4 premium sessions. Valari's face went blank. "These are my sisters. Can we free them?" She touched the console. Her eyes lit up, white-hot, power flooding her veins. "I can do more than that." Psychic lightning crackled. The cores glowed. Across the station, every enslaved empath simultaneously woke up, screaming, laughing, living. Alarms howled. A new announcement played, Pleasure Index Collapse Imminent. Initiate Damage Control Protocol, Extreme Aftercare. Jack snorted. What the hell is Extreme Aftercare? A hatch opened. Out came 10 security droids dressed like therapists wielding batons. Ah. Trauma suppression via blunt force. Jack ducked a swing, fired 3 times, and muttered, This is why I ghost my counselors. Valari turned her mind outward. A psychic pulse knocked the droids flat. Jack stared. You couldn't do that earlier? I was being polite. Well, stop that. They exited through the emergency shaft. As they climbed, Jack asked, what happens to the ones you woke up? They're free. Scattered. Dangerous. Just like us. She looked at him. We're not a good idea, Jack. We're not even an idea. We're an accident. Still, she said, I've had worse partners. At least you didn't try to link our minds mid-coitus. Jack raised an eyebrow. That was an option? No. Damn. As they reached the hangar bay, Jack's ship came into view, scratched, greasy, and proudly emblazoned with the name Moist Avenger. Valari stared. Seriously? It was my ex's idea. Did she hate you? Still does. They ducked behind crates as station security filled the bay. Jack pulled out one last gadget, an EMP dildo. Don't ask, he said. She didn't. He lobbed it. Boom. Half the guards short-circuited. They ran to the ship. As they prepped for launch, Valari strapped in, hair wild, eyes bright with madness and freedom. Where to? Jack asked. Somewhere with clothes and fewer emotional parasites. He grinned. So not Earth. As they lifted off, Valari turned to him. You know, you did say touch me again and you die. I remember. And yet you keep touching my brain. Yeah, he said, but now you're into it. She grinned. Maybe. Just don't get attached. Too late. And with that, the Moist Avenger jumped into hyperspace, leaving behind a station in flames, hundreds of freed empaths, and a very confused tentacle lord trying to understand why his shame kink now made him cry. The Moist Avenger was held together by rust, curses, and duct tape. Valari sat in the co-pilot seat, wrapped in a borrowed jacket and a newly acquired sense of self. She watched the galaxy stretch into light trails, legs curled under her like a cat plotting murder. Jack leaned back, feet on the console. So. We survived. Again. She tilted her head. Define survive. Well, we're not dead, the brothel's in ruins, and I'm pretty sure you traumatized an entire species with the concept of emotional accountability. Then yes. Success. They sat in silence for a beat. Not awkward, just a shared pause between chaos. Valari closed her eyes. She could still feel the echo of 1,000 minds freed. Pain. Joy. Confusion. Lust. All of it real. Unfiltered. Not a script forced into her head. Not someone else's idea of pleasure. Just freedom. You okay? Jack asked, not looking at her. No, she said. And that's the best I've felt in years. He cracked a smile. Spoken like a real human. I hope that's not contagious. Too late. You've already picked up sarcasm, reckless behavior, and my overwhelming sex appeal. She looked him over. 1 out of 3, maybe. He held up a small device. So. This thing in your neck. It's off, but it's still there. Remove it and I might die. Leave it and I might get tracked. Sounds like most of my relationships. She handed him a scalpel. Do it. Jack hesitated. I've never done brain surgery before. Closest I came was removing a tick from my cousin's ass. Good enough. He pried the panel open at the base of her skull. The device sparked. All right. It's got 3 wires. Red, blue, and one labeled Do Not Touch. Touch that one. I like your style. A zap singed his fingers, but the device went dark. She slumped, then inhaled like someone who'd been underwater. Still with me? She blinked. Now I'm down to just one voice in my head. Mine? Unfortunately. He grinned. You'll learn to tune it out. Most people do. Valari stretched. Her joints popped. Her psychic field expanded and then contracted with a satisfying snap. What now? She asked. Jack leaned back. We lay low. You get pants. I get drunk. We avoid the galactic equivalent of Yelp reviewers with vendettas. Someone's going to come after us. They always do. She studied him. You really don't have a plan. I find plans are just lists of lies we tell ourselves to feel organized. You're the least inspiring savior in galactic history. Yeah, but I'm memorable. She stood and walked the small cabin, fingers brushing old tools, dented helmets, a poster of a human swimsuit model wearing too much metal and not enough context. This is a trash ship. Hey. Watch your mouth. She's got character. She's got fungus. That's personality mold. She's sentient. Valari sat again, smirking. I never said thank you. I'd have made it awkward if you had. Touch her again and you die, she quoted back at him. Is that your catchphrase now? I was improvising. I thought it sounded badass. It did. But you said it with mustard on your lip. Even heroes get hungry. She looked out the viewport. Do you think they'll rebuild the pleasure ring? Probably. Greed always regenerates. Like a bad rash. And what about the other empaths? The ones I woke up? They'll do what humans always do when they're finally free. Eat junk food, make bad decisions, and start an underground resistance org with a weird name. Like? The League of Psychic Sluts. I've heard worse. She paused, more serious now. I was ready to die in that chair. I figured. That's why I made noise instead. She didn't thank him again. But he didn't need it. He started typing coordinates. She asked, where are we going? There's a moon called Grinta 5. Has beer, bathhouses, and the best fried tentacles this side of Orion. Thought we'd lay low there. Maybe introduce you to karaoke. Karaoke? Ancient human torture. Involves singing badly in front of strangers while drunk. That's horrifying. You'll love it. They sat again in silence, the kind that came after trauma and absurdity, healing, slowly, and laced with lingering damage. Valari tapped her temple. You ever think about how weird it is, what just happened? Yeah. I liberated a mind-linked psychic sex slave from an intergalactic torture lounge by threatening people with a lighter and a massage wand. When you say it like that, makes perfect sense. She smiled. Humanity is terrifying. We're the punchline that hits back. A soft beep indicated proximity to Grinta 5. Jack leaned forward. Valari? She looked over. If you ever need out, if this gets too weird, I'll drop you anywhere. I know. But I'd prefer you stayed. This ship's smarter with you on it. She tilted her head. That's dangerously close to sentiment. I've been drinking. Don't hold it against me. She reached over, fingers brushing his hand. A tiny psychic flicker passed between them, gentle, consenting, curious. No chains, she said softly. No scripts. No more roleplay. Well, Jack said, maybe a little roleplay. But only on birthdays. She laughed. For real this time. As they descended toward the moon, a new alert flashed across the galactic net. Wanted, human male, unregistered empath, ship, Moist Avenger. Bounty, variable. Threat level, unpredictable. Sexual energy, confusing. Valari glanced at the screen. They got your good side. I have no bad side. Except your entire personality. Debatable. And with that, the Moist Avenger disappeared into the clouds, an ex-battle empath and an emotionally stunted loudmouth, neither healed, neither perfect, but finally in control of their own damn story. Somewhere in the universe, a very rich alien watched the footage of the pleasure ring burning and muttered, "Next time, no humans."